Hey, what's up, everybody? Another great episode of Fourth Person Point of View, baby. And today's episode, we're going to talk about execution, the death penalty. So, I was reading an article on pbs.org dated April the 11th, which you can go pull this up. Now, I said execution, which that could be a totally different episode. But I want to talk about this firing squad. So according to this article here, I'm going to read a little bit of it for you. It says, South Carolina executes second man by firing squad in 5 weeks, which that's the title. It says, Columbia, South Carolina. A firing squad on Friday executed a South Carolina man who killed an off-duty police officer. The second time the rare execution method has been used by the state in the past 5 weeks. Mikhail Mahadi gave no final statement and did not look to his right towards the 9 witnesses in the room behind bulletproof glass and bars once the curtain opened. He cried out as the shots hit him and his arms flexed. A white target with red bull's eye over Mahadi's heart was pushed into the wound in his chest. Okay, so we're going to skip down. So it says Mahadi was 42, chose to die by 3 bullets to the heart instead of lethal injection or the electric chair. On March 7th, Brad Sigmund was executed in the first U.S. firing squad death in 15 years and only the 4th since 1976. The others all occurred in Utah. Scroll down, South Carolina lawmakers saw it as the quickest and most humane way to kill an inmate, especially with uncertainty in obtaining lethal injection drugs. 3 volunteers fired the bullets to kill Mahadi. Mahadi is the 5th inmate executed by South Carolina in less than 8 months as the state makes its way through prisoners who ran out of appeals during an unintended 13-year pause on executions in the state. Now, I wanted to talk about this. Because like I said, we can do a whole nother episode on the death penalty. Executions are common in the judicial system in America. They got the electric chair, they got the lethal injections. Now, this death by firing squad is some new shit. It's not new in the sense of the practice, but it's kind of like they said in the article. It was on pause for a few years, so you got these 2 here, and they hadn't happened in 15 years, and I think the other one was in Utah. You can double check me on that. But I wanted to talk about it because is this a growing pattern we see here? I mean, goddamn, 2 people in 5 weeks by firing squad. Now, there was a few reasons I'm not for this. And the first reason is we live in a society that's crumbling. Our judicial system, in my opinion, is broken. You got people that are full of shit. In layman's terms, we'll just say you got people who are full of shit. You got people who just go along to get along. People do not have morals, values, and they're not ethical. They're not, and you can see this if you pay attention to the news. They're not practicing law based off policy, legislation, and the process. You got people out here who practicing law for political reasons. They're turning it into a weapon. I mean, you can look at the current president and the Democrats and see that bullshit unfold right before your eyes. Now, the other reason, you got people who are not being treated fair by the judicial system. If you go online and you look up the Murdaugh murders, that was in South Carolina. It's actually a Netflix series. So Murdaugh being Murdaugh. Murdaugh, the Southern Scandal. That was on Netflix. I watched it. I followed that case. Very interesting documentary. I think you should go watch it. The Murdaugh family had been in this town for a few generations, but unfortunately, they was full of shit. Now, the daddy is in prison for allegedly killing his wife and his son. Now, the goddamn wife had allegedly murdered the housekeeper, and the son allegedly murdered 2 other people, including one girl in a drunk driving accident. So I think that's 3 bodies tied to him. These fuckers had killed a lot of people in the Murdaugh family. Now, if you go watch that documentary on Netflix, or you can probably find it on YouTube, which I strongly suggest you go watch it. It's a white family from South Carolina. They had a little bit of money. Their foreparents were like some of the early pioneers in this area, and I think they were like judges and attorneys. The daddy was an attorney too. Now, a lot of the local people said this family was full of shit for so long they couldn't take it no more. They felt like they were above the law, which is why they had all these murders attached to the family. This is not no mafia type family. This is a basic American Southern family, which proves my point. You got so many people with bullshit out here. Bullshitters don't come in a certain goddamn color, race, religion, or gender. No. They come in everything. Now, when I was watching this Netflix series, they had an African-American judge who was a pretty sharp guy. Go back and watch the documentary because you're going to love it. But the black judge, when they got ready to read, I don't know what his name was, we'll call him the Murdaugh daddy. When the judge wrapped up his closing statements, he told this Murdaugh guy, who was an attorney, who had walked in that courtroom throughout the over the years, and what the judge told him will blow your mind. And I'm going to tell you a little bit. This is not verbatim, but he told him, he said, I don't have a problem with your sentence. But he said, I do want you to know one thing. I have stood in this courtroom right here. This same courtroom that you're in, this same courtroom that you've been an attorney, this same courtroom where your goddamn family members, your grandparents and all that, they were judges and attorneys. The judge told him, I have watched your family send people to the goddamn gas chamber over the years for shit that don't even add up to this shit you in here for now. I was like, damn, that's some gangster shit. He said, I'm okay with the jury's decision, but I do want you to know that I'm aware that your ass is spared. But other people that you and your family have sent to the gas chamber, to the death penalty, y'all gave them life in prison. They ain't done a fraction of this bullshit you on trial for. And I said, man, that right there made the damn documentary perfect for me. It was the perfect ending. Because now it took all this shit here that his family was accused of, and they were a political family. They were connected to the judicial system. They had power. But the judge letting them know, y'all been with the bullshit for a long time. A lot of the people on the documentary are white people that grew up with this guy's children, and they were people from the community. They said they was tired of the bullshit too, because your family is always fucking over people, and y'all feel like y'all can't be touched. So my point about the firing squad, which we'll get back to that. If the judicial system ain't fair, I don't think you should be having firing squads, because what you're going to do, you're going to get some shitheads that are trigger happy. You're going to get a judge in there that's with the bullshit. And sometimes people just want to goddamn participate in shit just so to make the headlines. Hey, our state does firing squads. What did you do? And the jury's with the bullshit. What did he do? Sentence him to death. Okay, shit. Firing squad. And is it to make a political statement? No, it's not. It's for bullshit. As of right now, according to AI, it says 5 states allow execution by firing squad. Idaho, Utah, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Mississippi. Idaho is the only state where firing squad is the primary execution method, while South Carolina and Mississippi also use firing squads. Lethal injection is still their default method. Now, like I said earlier, we can talk about execution methods, and that could be a whole different episode. Am I for the death penalty or against it? I don't know. I won't tell you this time. I know, but we'll stay on topic here. Now, when you're talking about these damn firing squads, so apparently what they do is they take 3 guys and they put them behind some type of wall or put masks on them, and they put you about 15 feet. They put the person in the chair and they put like little targets on them, and the person kill them. South Carolina, you too hypocritical. Not when you got this Murdaugh documentary online, which is not fiction. This is reality. Like, this shit really happened. You can't pick and choose who you gonna kill and who you're not gonna kill. And the 2 people in South Carolina that died within this 5-week span, I don't know them. I don't even know what they were charged with. I know they said one guy killed the off-duty cop. I don't know to the extent, like what the situation was or nothing, because I didn't read into it. But I think y'all should hold off on these firing squads, especially in this modern society, because I feel like the firing squads will trigger some demonic shit that's inside of a lot of people. And what'll happen, you'll get people who start creating their own goddamn fucking movies. Because I do believe a certain people are allowed to witness these executions. And then, with all the sick goddamn shit that's going on in this society, I don't think it's a good look. I do not. Because next thing you know, they'll be saying that the damn firing squad is inhumane. Then they'll be saying, hey, let's bring back hangings. Let's bring back hangings and such and such, such and such. When, in reality, all these execution methods, from hanging to the firing squad, were used in early American history, in the military, in the colonies. It happened. And now the electric chair and the lethal injection, I guess, were more of the modern ways to execute an inmate. And if you do a little bit of reading on those, I mean, there are pros and cons to those as well, which we're not going to get into now. But one of the things about this firing squad that one legal scholar was talking about, she was talking about when they did the autopsies, turns out that some of these guys, they had like blood in their lungs and all that. She said they still ended up giving them certain types of drugs that you have to give all inmates on death row. And that's something that you can look up too on YouTube. I won't get into that. But my overall opinion is I think you should hold off on these damn firing squads. And some of y'all out there might argue and say they shouldn't do the crime. Shit. I just watched some shit yesterday where a person read off a bunch of crimes committed, and he said, were they committed by NBA players or NFL players? And somebody said NBA. He said neither. It was fucking Congress. I was like, wow. So my point, you got all these losers out here committing crimes, but you're trying to punish certain people. And that Kennedy family, I suggest, I'm not going to say them, but I suggest you go watch their family documentaries and see some of the fuckery they've been involved in. And I'm not talking about the family members that are dead. I'm talking about some that are still alive today. The fuckery they was engaged in, the sick shit, and they got probation. You got to make this shit make sense. What I believe is going to happen is people are going to lose their goddamn hope and faith in the judicial system, and people are going to start carrying the law into their own hands, and you're going to have a goddamn war. Because people are not just going to be watching all these little situations play out. Certain people get the death penalty. Certain people get a slap on the wrist. This family right here do the most demonic, sexual, sick shit, and they get slaps on the fucking wrist. But then this person over here commit a petty crime, sell drugs, and they got 30 years in prison. I don't believe society as a whole is going to sit back and watch the judicial system keep being biased like that with certain people based off race and social status and all that shit, because you got too much going on. Too much. Like I said, I'm not going to get in it, but I wanted to talk about it. So that's my take. This is short and sweet here. Tell me what y'all think out there. Do you think firing squads are the proper way to execute an inmate today? I mean, should the death penalty be threw in the garbage? Either way, should they kind of like ban lethal injection, the electric chair, firing squads? Should they ban it all? Who knows? Let me know what you think about it. This has been Fourth Person Point of View, baby. I'm out.